Xiaomi is doing something different, very different, and Tesla could be about to face its first real competition. All of this from a Chinese company more famous for smartphones than EVs. And it's not like smartphone makers haven't been trying to take over the EV market. This is the Xiaomi SU7, and it's heading to the UK this year. With so much packed into a budget-priced car, am I going to have to finally move away from my trusty Tesla? Well, Xiaomi has just overtaken Apple in the smartphone market and is snapping at the heels of the world's largest, Samsung. Their smartphones use the very latest silicon carbon batteries, offering capacities around 6,000 mAh that charge at 90 watts versus Apple's 4,500 NMC batteries that struggle to charge at 30 watts. Chinese brands are focusing on innovation, and that brings us nicely to the Xiaomi SU7, surely a force to be taken seriously. Well, we all know Apple tried and failed disastrously to make an EV. Xiaomi designed and built one, now offers for sale a seriously good EV, shortly to be offered for sale in the UK, and they're already on their second model, the YU7. The SU7 looks about as far ahead of other EVs on sale as their smartphone is ahead of Apple's best efforts. It looks stunning and goes like a Falcon 9 rocket. It's a big saloon car, very big car. It's 18 inches longer than ID4, 10 inch longer than Tesla Model 3, 11 inch longer than the new soon-to-be released Mercedes CLA. In fact, it's just 1 inch shorter than the Model S. That makes it a very big saloon car. Yeah, no hatchback here. Has a boot and a frunk, or a fruit as we say over here. That's the front boot. When launched, the basic model, though it's hardly basic, is likely to be priced at about $35,000, while the Dual Motor Max is expected to be around $45,000 versus the $50,000 for the CLA 350 and $50,000 for the M3 Dual Motor Long Range. It's very competitive. But the styling is stunning. It looks more like a Porsche Taycan than the Tesla, and it just looks right. Exact proportions, shaping, details. Now I know it looks subjective, but I like this one. Even the colour schemes set it apart. Nothing boring here, with meteor blue, lava orange, radiant purple among the lineup. Even the black is diamond black with a hint of blue. It's a stunning range that's equalled by the interior trim. What a selection. Galaxy Grey is just a hint of grey away from pure white, but enough to make a difference. And then Twilight Red, beautiful colour, and Mist Purple plus traditional black. But the combination of the body colours and the interior just sets this apart. Recently sat in a BMW i5, and that was just so dark and oppressive. I really didn't like it. This is a huge splash of colour. And then the drivers get a massive central display over 16 inches, and of course, in a car of this class, a full heads-up display. But unlike one of its main targets, the Teslas, this also has a driver display. That'll be very welcome to many drivers who feel that losing that is a step too far. One interesting feature is that Xiaomi, it's a smartphone manufacturer, but they also manufacture their own tablets. And in this car, you can actually integrate up to 5 Xiaomi tablets synchronized to your car display. Well, not so much a surround sound system, but a surround screen system? I don't know. And this again just proves the point about software integration with EVs. Whereas much of the Western legacy auto treats an EV as it's a car to which you can link your mobile phone. Xiaomi takes the opposite approach, and this is an integrated software system to which the car just belongs. So this links home, car, mobile phone systems, tablets, to give you total interchangeability, whether you're sitting in your car, in your home, or out for a walk with your smartphone. Looking at the platform, it's called the Xiaomi Smart Chassis. Everything is there, including closed-loop air suspension, and that's not normally found until you get much higher up the price bracket. It's got 50-50 weight distribution, double wishbone suspension in aluminium alloy, taking us back to the Tesla Gigapress and the one-piece chassis members. The big change here is the battery. They use silicon carbon anode technology, which gives very much higher capacity and also a much faster charging rate. But that new battery accounts for its incredible range. So unless you spend over £100,000, Tesla's held the high ground here for a long time, with the Model 3 now achieving 436 miles WLTP. The base model SU7 is now rated at 437 miles, while the long-range version, or the Max, gives an amazing 506 miles. But while its main competitor is the Tesla Model 3, both of them sedans, the SU7 just pips the Tesla Model 3 in many areas. And it's amazing to see that the Model 3 is about 400 kilograms lighter. The SU7 has a 101 kilowatt hour battery, and Tesla long range is only about 85. And while the Model 3 is 400 volt architecture, the SU7 is a full 800 volt. Well, to a techie like me, it is amazing to see the different approaches. Both of these manufacturers, Tesla and Xiaomi, right at the top of the game. Tesla's heading down the road of ultra efficiency, lightness of weight, and incredible speed of production. Xiaomi is heading down much more the tech route, offering more in technology and sacrificing that with some additional weight. When I looked at the performance, the 0 to 60 time of Xiaomi, I was in for a total shock because the headline figure is 10.67 seconds. And that was for the Max. That's the higher performance one. But then a bit closer look and you find that it's 0 to 200 kilometers, not 0 to 100. The 0 to 100 is amazing 2.76 seconds. And that puts the SUV7 Max comfortably ahead of the Model 3 long range and well into the Model 3 performance bracket. Well, Xiaomi does not lack in the driver assist systems either, and they operate their own version of the most popular on the market today. In terms of safety, not lacking anything at all. Now, we've yet to see just how good some of the self-driving features actually turn out to be. In a recent real-world test in China, once again, Tesla's easily outperformed all Chinese EVs. However, I don't remember seeing the Xiaomi SU7 included in that test. They feature heavily on customizability. And that's an amazing word, but this allows you to set your own driving modes. So if you look at the 6 features that are included here, that's power, flexibility, economy, comfort, passability and stability, then the software offers an almost limitless choice of which combination you choose. Having full air suspension and sophisticated damping and axle structure, setting the comfort mode really easy. Most EVs don't get air suspension till you get right up into the top models. Here it is. This is a mid-entry level with the suspension, which makes the comfort probably world-beating. Well, silicon carbon batteries will offer a huge power advantage over the Tesla Model 3. The silicon carbon anode allows for faster charging and discharging, therefore allowing access to the power that much more quickly. That is the reason why this much heavier car can outperform the lighter one. So set it for performance, and this is an electrifying vehicle with 0 to 60, 2.76 seconds, which is probably ahead of most of the Lamborghinis, Ferraris and other supercars. It even approaches what's regarded as one of the fastest cars in the world, the Bugatti Veyron, losing out by 0.2 of a second, 0 to 60. Safety is an ever-present issue, particularly in the minds of Western drivers, many of whom still see the Chinese cars cheap and nasty and therefore potential death traps. With this C-Class sedan, there need be no such fears. Safety is a particular issue here, and for this they have an integrated steel and aluminium alloy armoured cage for the passenger compartment, with different sections of it able to offer different levels of protection and weight saving. Here again we are seeing those integrated one-piece front and rear chassis members. Well, these issues like front collision warning, automatic emergency braking, front crossing warning, lane departure warning, emergency lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, lane change assist, door open warning, rear collision warning, low speed collision avoidance, active anti-glare headlights and traffic light reminders. That includes most of the list. Well, this car, along with many others, is now exceedingly determined to keep you away from any accident, so you never have to test out whether the steel and aluminium alloy chassis will provide you protection sufficiently. But of course, these are going to be subject to the NCAP testing for use in Europe and the UK, and so we will get the definitive readings in due course. However, the Chinese have their own NCAP standard, the C NCAP, and this car has been tested in China and it's achieved a 5-star rating with a score of 93.5% that was amongst the highest of all the cars tested in the Chinese NCAP in 2024. Be really interesting to see how close this is to the Euro NCAP when it's tested prior to launching in the European Union or the UK. Now, when we look at sustainable manufacturing, we come across something that I raised in a recent video about the UK EV grant, £3,750. That grant is dependent on the sustainability credentials of the electric grid in the country in which either the car or the battery is manufactured. Well, here Xiaomi obviously is a Chinese company, and so it'll probably be lumped together with all Chinese EV manufacturers. However, the Xiaomi EV factory is setting new standards in sustainability, fully taking into account carbon emissions and renewable energy right from the start of construction. For example, the EV factory boasts a solar roof generating 16.4 million kilowatt hours of clean energy annually, and 99% efficiency in exhaust gas treatment, achieving zero heavy metal into wastewater emissions. That's a very valid point. Should the SU7 be rated for a grant based on the Chinese national grid or the individual factory local grid? Well, for me, I really like to see the deployment of incredibly advanced technology in EVs. And here the SU7 looks like they've manufactured what Apple was trying but failing to achieve. That is the total integration of hardware inside of one software package. The SU7 supports over 1,000 smart home devices for effortless integration with the vehicle. That enables automatic discovery, knows who you are, knows where you are, and what your settings are. It also offers password-free access. It knows it's you. And the ability to set up automation scenarios, creating an ecosystem of your own. And there's also pinpoint expansions within the SU7 for plug-and-play functionality for a wide range of devices, but obviously CarPlay. It's just a single part of this whole system because it will allow the mounting and connection of iPads, iPhones and iPhone accessories. So it just builds an ecosystem around you that makes no difference where you are. It's called Xiaomi Hyper OS operating system, and they claim it ensures a smooth experience with seamless interconnection with coordinated capabilities. But also often this is at the expense of other features, and here it seems that the SU7 has taken everything currently available, all the latest tech, and put it all into one package. The battery is so far ahead of what we in the West are doing. We are just slowly moving away from NMC over to LFP. That's mainly for fire safety, but the silicon carbon batteries are one generation ahead of that, offering almost the same fire resistance, but much higher energy storage density, much faster charging, much faster release of that energy. Now add in the software integration, the air suspension, the performance, the colour schemes, both inside and out, and you have here a car whose base model is so much cheaper than anything BMW or Mercedes makes, and even undercuts the Tesla Model 3, which up until now has been probably the leader in technology. I'm very much looking forward to one of these arriving in the UK, first of all to see the price, but secondly to get behind the wheel of one. But this is a real Tesla beta. But what do you think? Is this a Tesla beta or just another failed Chinese effort? All hype. Is this really right up there in a C-Class premium sedan range, or just another cheap and nasty Chinese car? Love to see your comments. I'm Dave.